Stampin' Sharon. On today's video, we're going to talk about a new product that is called Eden's Garden. Such pretty paper, such a beautiful stamp set, but I have a beautiful, fun fold, unique type of card that I hope inspires you. If you're new to my channel, I want to welcome you. I invite you to subscribe below the video and then ring that little bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a video like this or I go live on YouTube. Let's make some pretty cards. Today, I want to introduce you to Eden's Garden. This is a special stamp set that came out on November 2nd of 2021. It has some beautiful papers. It has some dies with it. But I want to talk to you a little bit about it today and show you some gorgeous cards. This is a limited time offer as far as when you can order these. Like I said, it started November 2nd. And look at these dies. Look how pretty. So very, very greenery, very floral looking, very Garden of Eden. So I think I used all the dies. Maybe I didn't use that one. But anyway, on my cards, so I have several to show you. I love the distinctive look of this stamp. And I love the fonts. And I want to show you a trick in case you have forgotten this one. I received a card similar to this in the mail. Look at that. It's the full piece of designer series paper, almost. We're going to make this card. We're going to make a version of it because there's so many gorgeous papers, I wanted to play with more. So speaking of gorgeous papers, you see the gold. So the colors in here are Evening Evergreen, Soft Succulent, and gold. Okay, and white. That's it. So these are all of the patterns. I went ahead and cut it apart because it's easier. These do come 12 by 12 when you purchase the pack. Okay, so just so pretty, so pretty. Other thing that is available is this cotton paper. It feels like tissue paper, but maybe a little bit thicker. It also comes in Soft Succulent or Evening Evergreen, just those two colors. For today's card, I'm also going to be using the layering circles dies. If you don't have these, perhaps you could do your sentiment with, just using a paper trimmer or a punch. So speaking of paper trimmer, let's get this out. Now, here is my designer series paper that we're going to use for the card. It is 4 inches by 11. I cut off, let me get it. I cut off a 1-inch strip, okay? But don't throw that away. We're going to use it. So I'm going to score this at 2.5. Just gently. And then we're going to open up our arm. And I'm going to scoot it down, and then I'm going to score it at 7 3/4. I have a piece of Soft Succulent, and we're going to just fold this on our score lines. I know y'all are saying, I'm not going to use that whole piece of designer series paper. And I know that you guys don't like to cut it. You hang on to it. Please use the paper. It is so pretty. I hear what you're saying that I did use a lot. However, it's just one strip off of one sheet of that designer series paper. Okay, so when you fold this, can you see that my left flap is longer than the right flap? So this is going to be the top. Okay, so this is how we're going to put it down. We're going to add some adhesive. You can use whatever adhesive you prefer. So again, big flap up at the top. And now Now we're going to add this layer to this. I do have the measurements on my blog below the video. Just click the show more button and you can get all the measurements. But my piece of soft succulent is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I used the basic white and I cut out using the layering circles dies, and depending on what you use for your sentiment will depend on which circle you use, okay? So I want to use hello there, and I'm going to stamp it about right there. And then I have dear friend, how are you? I just want the dear friend. I don't want to say how are you, unless you want to. I'm going to use the Evening Evergreen Stampin' Right marker, and I'm going to omit the how are you part, and I'm only going to color dear friend. I love this dear friend. I love this phrase, like putting it together myself. Hello there, dear friend. Okay, so these are water-based markers, and you know, I'm chit-chatting a little bit, so the marker is drying because it's water-based. You want to use a little bit of hot air, and you want to exhale to re-moisten that. So, little Darth Vader sound. And then I'm just going to say, hello there, dear friend. How are you? Nope, don't want the how are you, just the dear friend. And then next, I'm just gonna take, and we're gonna do some stamping like this and like this. So next I cut out, using the scalloped, layering die circles, and I cut out the soft succulent. And then here is that cotton paper that I showed you earlier. So I like the idea of having 3 layers when I'm doing this. So we're just going to adhere these 2 together. And I don't know, you know, this is what I want to say, sturdier than what you think. But if you're afraid you're going to tear it, just add your adhesive to the cardstock, and then you don't have to worry. Of course, I'm making a mess here. Let me go back over here. And then we just want to center this just like that. And then we've added some adhesive to the back, and we're just going to pop that on right there. And it's just a very subtle little scallop. So I'm really hanging on to it until I'm happy where it's going to go. There we go. Can you see just a touch of the Evening Evergreen? So now I have 2 pieces of soft succulent, and we're going to start adding some layers here. So remember this piece, this was our piece that I cut off. My bigger piece is going to go on the top, and it measures 1 1/2 by 4 inches. My smaller piece is going to go on the bottom, and it measures 1 inch by 4 inches. Okay, so I'm not going to stick this down just yet because I want to add some ribbon. Oh yeah, we love ribbon. So I'm going to flip this over though, and I'm going to add it right here. So I'm going to get my other card, and I'm going to bring it back in so that y'all can see what I'm doing. So can you see my layer of soft succulent right there? Okay, so they're side by side. And then I want my layer of ribbon to go around my cardstock. And then I'm going to pull this down, and it's going to go here. So can y'all see the visual? Okay. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add some adhesive to the back of this. And I love this trick. Did y'all see what I did? I started, if you're using the Seal Plus or the Seal and you have trouble, if you start it on the silicone mat, it will get it started for you. And when you end up off of the cardstock, it will stop it for you and you won't have that stringy adhesive. Okay, so I like to leave my ribbon on the bolt and just kind of trim it. That way I don't have any waste. So now I'm going to add my ribbon to the top part, leaving, what is that, about 1/4 inch at the top. You know, the designer series paper just did all the work on these cards. Although, I mean, I did use the dies on some of them, so I'm going to show those to you. All right, so we have that. And so now we're going to add some adhesive. Very sticky adhesive. All right, so we're going to put this right here. There we go. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing to this piece about our ribbon, using our ribbon. So I'm going to cut another piece. I copied this card from a friend of mine who sent me a thank you card, and I will share that card with y'all in just a moment. I'll have to tell her that her debut on my video happened. She'll be so thrilled. She's also a stamper, and I didn't need quite that much. We'll just do this. So yeah, I can't wait to show off her card. But you know, I get a card in the mail and I'm like, okay, wait, how'd she do that? So I had to figure that out, and I didn't even call her. I just figured it out. All right, so again, I'm going to leave a little bit of room, about 1/4 inch. We're just going to wrap that around. And that adhesive is so sticky. So we're just going to do this. Okay, so now we're going to open up our card and we're going to add it right here. And look how that just lays perfect. Isn't that fun? All right, so let's add a little bit more adhesive to this one. And then this is gonna go right here. Line that up. And then I only want adhesive. I don't want to glue the whole thing down because then I'll close my card. So decide where you want it, okay? And then, so this part down here, past the designer series paper, we don't want adhesive. So I'm gonna hold my finger there. It's right around the deer. And we're just gonna place that right there. You could use dimensionals if you wanted to. And then of course, I feel like we need to add a little bit more bling, a little gold. So I'm using the gilded gems, the gold gilded gems. Yes, love me some bling. How about right there? Okay. All right, so on the inside, we need to talk about the inside because we have designer series paper. We can't write on that. So we're gonna do a little bit more stamping. I'm gonna get my Evening Evergreen out, and I have a layer of basic white, and I just love the greenery. So we're gonna tie this in. We can stamp once, stamp again. I even liked having it coming in from the top part as well. Stamp once, stamp again. So pretty. You have plenty of room to write your sentiment, whatever you want to do. And so now we're going to add this. Whoops. So now we're going to add this to the inside. And it's kind of hard to see because we have designer series paper, so it's kind of hard to see the line. So I just kind of pick it up. Am I centered? I'm looking really good. There we go. Now on the inside of this one, since I said sending hugs, I said my heart is tied to yours. Tug if you need anything. So such a fun set. Such gorgeous paper. All right, let me show you some more. Let me show you the card that my friend Lorraine sent. So she sent me a thank you card, okay? And that's how I figured out how to make my card. And then let me show you. Let's just add a lot of gold. Hello there. So I used some of the leaf dies, and then there's that stitched border. I could have used gold down here, but I opted not to. I put, my card base was the soft succulent, and then I added the evening evergreen just to tie in all the colors of the designer series paper. I set that up. And then how about a nice, easy, simple one? I almost went back and added some of the gems to this one, but I wanted to just keep it simple. Let the designer series paper do the work, but there's that distinctive stamp. So I hope that you will take a look at Eden's Garden on my website. So happy stamping, y'all.